On your screens, you can see two login pages. Let's assume that the one on the left of your screen is a login page and the one on the right is an example of what some other bidder will see on his page. Alright, let's type in the test login name and password for both screens. Wow, isn't that cool? A rotating logo. Awesome! What we can see is the home page on both screens. Let's focus on your screen first. There's a list of 21 players laid out in front of you. As you can see, the players aren't named. I bet it hits you now that the entire bid is going to be crazy. The players' names are hidden, and as you'll soon find out, your name as a bidder is hidden too. Before we continue, let's go through all the tabs on top of the screen. Up first is the profile page. What can we do here? Is this just an unnecessary screen put up so you can admire how talented your KFANDRA technical experts are? Well, yes and no. KFANDRA's technical experts Neelambari and Tanmeesha are as beautiful as they are clever and honest too. The profile page has been put up so that the first thing you do when you open up your page is to change your password. You see, the two lovely laces have created your personal sign-in name and password. Would you want them fiddling about with your private decision making during the bid? No, you don't. So the first thing you must do is create a unique password that only you know. And if you do want to share your bank account password, just email the KFANDRA Fraud and Gafla department after you see this video. Rest assured your bank balance will be secure in our hands. Now to the bids and sales page. Here you'll be able to see players that have been sold to you or another bidder, and also the total number of bids made during the KLC5 bid. Bloody great, eh? And now to the next page, the rules and regulations. You better go through them, eh? There may be some changes made at the last moment and uploaded just before the bid started. How? That would be fun, wouldn't it? Rest assured you'll be given 15 minutes to browse the KLC5 app at leisure before the bid begins at 10:15 AM. Now back to the home page, and here's a right old doozy for you. But to the doozy a little later. Each KFANDRA player has been prodded and tested, and that includes you, and their technical ability has been graded in terms of being average, good or very good in a number of stats. This is how you can make a decision on how good a player is and if you want to purchase him. Or maybe you think that you can buy a player whose stats aren't that great and you'll buy him for a steal. Or I'll let you in on the secret, eh? The player or players that manage to buy 3 players after the first round get a KFANDRA match ball worth thousands as a gift. Amazing, right? Now to the doozy. Note on the top of the right of the screen there's an option tab just below the amount of rupees you have. It says original order, lowest to highest and highest to lowest. Now wouldn't it save you so much time if Tanmeesha and Neelambari had created a code that would at the press of a button automatically sift through all the player stats and lay down in front of you a list of players graded from the players with the highest technical ability to the lowest and vice versa? Otherwise you'd have to click on each player's name, check his stats, is he quick, can he dribble, then compare him to the other 20 players. Wouldn't that take ages? Easy, right? But there's a catch. This will cost you 30 rupees of your transfer budget. Just click on the button that says pay 30 rupees and ease your burden of stats hunting. Oh yes, just because the two girls had some time on their hands, they even created a link to the rules on this page too. Now onto the fleshy part of the app. Let's open the Player 1 tab by clicking on it. Here you can see the stats of Player 1. Poor fellow, just 4 goods and the rest average. You must be wondering who he is. Well, aren't we all? And that's the crux of the bid. In this type of anonymous bid, nobody knows who's bidding and which player you're bidding for. What matters is which 3 players you think you could be good enough to play together and perform well in the team. Brilliant, right? Okay, let's stop praising ourselves and move on. At the bottom of the stats, you'll notice a button which says submit, and a small box above it which has the number 5 in it. Obviously, you must have gone through the rules and know that until the time the player that you've bid for reaches 70 rupees, you're only allowed to increase the bid by 5 rupees, hence the 5 rupee amount. Let's press it and see what happens. A small pop-up screen appears asking if you're sure that you want to bid 5 rupees. How nice! They're so caring, these people at KFANDRA, I must say. Let's click or press the yes button. A reminder to all of you that this app can be used in mobile phones too, which is why I said click or press. I'll be pausing the screen just so that you can see what happens after I press submit. Whoa! So much has happened. Let's go through everything. On your screens at the bottom, you've been informed that your bid was successful. Inside the tab of player 1, you'll notice a green box appears saying that this is now an active bid. Next to it, a counter has popped up which will begin at 5 minutes and count down to 0. You can also see that the number in the box above the submit button has changed to 10 and the latest bid value number has changed to 10 rupees too. These two numbers simply tell you that the next highest bid would be 10 rupees. If anyone wants to bid a higher amount, they can. Just keep on clicking the submit button. But who in their right mind would want to do that? When you get a KFANDRA match ball for purchasing 3, and that whatever amount you've spent on a bid is lost forever, even if you lose the bid or step out of the bid. Now move your head a little and your eyes to the screen on the right. That screen shows that someone has made a bid on player 1. Which means that if the player wants to make a bid, he better make it before the countdown ends. Now let us see how it works on that screen. What if you were the person using the screen on the right? Let's say that we want player 1. That means we need to make a bid. Let's open the player 1 tab. You'll notice that the 10 rupee amount is already in the submit box. Let's press the submit button. Pausing the screen for a moment here, you'll notice that the screen on the left has been notified that a bid has been made on player 1. The amounts on the screen on the right have changed to 15, and watch what happens to the counter after I begin playing the video again. The counter resets. Amazing more, right? Let us go back to the screen on the left and press submit. I hope you people aren't tired. This is important. Okay, let's quickly go through the rest of the basic rules. The rules state that you can purchase only 3 players. And now you're thinking that's a nasty rule. What if I'd had my eyes around 5 players? Well, we have done a workaround for that. What we've done for you is pretty snaky, in fact. We've actually allowed you to bid for more than 3 players. The risk is that you might lose a lot of spending money in the search for the 3 players of your choice. What we have done is allowed bids on more than 3 players only when you aren't the highest bidder on at least one of your earlier bids. Simply put, if you have 3 highest bids on the 3 players, this means the chances of you purchasing those 3 players is very high, which is why the option to bid for a 4th player has been removed. The moment someone else tops your bid, the option opens for you to bid on the 4th player. But be wise, the amount spent on the other player will be lost if you stop bidding on that player. Let us now take a peek at what's happening on the profile page. Here we can see everything. Let's tap on the bids and sales tab and see what's happening across the entire page. Take a look at this. Did you notice, as an example, we are using only 2 players here and all the bids of the 2 players can be seen here. This page will go wild if all the KFANDRA members join in. This is incredible. Now we are close to the end of this walkthrough. Let's speed things up to show you what happens when the timer counts to 0. We must inform you that to ensure nothing dodgy happens in the last few seconds, we've disconnected the submit button, so no last second bids can come in. Please don't leave it for the last seconds. Our advice for you is to bid early to save heartache and pain. How? And you thought the fun had ended, eh? How would it feel to see if your screen suddenly explode right in front of you, telling you that you have just purchased a player? Brilliant, right? And obviously not so good when you look at the screen on the right and imagine that someone else has just bought a player. Did you notice where it says you and someone? That's what we have used for this walkthrough. During the bid itself, you will see your name pop up in your screen, and in someone else's screen the player and his number will pop up. Secrets remain secrets at KFANDRA. Here's me, Mr. Lamini, and me, Mr. Smith, saying I hope you've enjoyed the walkthrough. Goodbye. Salagahle.